I bet you thought museums were classic paintings like the Mona Lisa and sculptures like Michelangelo's David. No. When you think of a museum, you probably think of natural history, dinosaur fossils, or at the weirdest, Ripley's Believe It or Not. But the world is a big place and there's a lot of stuff to show. A lot of weird stuff. So because the human race is such a weird bunch, people from all over the world have created museums to display things that probably shouldn't be displayed, but are. So let's talk about it. Here are the 10 weirdest museums in the world. Number 1 is the Icelandic Phallological Museum. Have you ever thought to yourself, hey, I want to visit an institution dedicated to the presentation of a variety of penises? I sure have. Well then pack your bags for Reykjavik, Iceland, where you'll find the Icelandic Phallological Museum. Founded in 1997 by a retired teacher named Sigurdur, the museum grew out of an interest in penises that began during his childhood when he was given a cattle whip made from a bull's penis. It boasts a collection of more than 215 penises and penile parts belonging to almost all the land and sea mammals found in Iceland, everything from mice to whales, and in July of 2011, the museum obtained its first human penis. Progress. Don't forget to sign the guest book and look around the Phallus Store gift shop that sells shot glasses to help you drink away what you just witnessed. Just for the record, I'd like to point out how difficult it was to describe this place without every sentence becoming a double entendre. It was really hard. Damn it. Number 2 is the Museum of Bad Art. Art is subjective, so really any showing could be good or bad, but there is one museum that displays the worst of the worst. The Museum of Bad Art is the world's only museum dedicated to the collection, preservation, exhibition, and celebration of bad art in all of its forms. It was founded in 1994 after an antique dealer named Scott Wilson showed a painting that he had recovered from the trash to some friends who suggested starting a collection. The pieces on display range from the lesser work of talented artists to the work of people that are puzzled of just even how to use a brush at all. Since its founding, it has grown exponentially with 2 larger venues to show off all of the pieces of artwork because, well, there's a lot of crappy artists out there. They are always open to people submitting their own artwork to be added to the growing collection. One day, my hope is that I'll get a call that my son or daughter's painting of a turkey has made it into the museum. That'll be a proud moment. Number 3 is the Museum of Broken Relationships. When you're down in the dumps after your special someone left you and you're clinging on to that one shoe that they left behind, instead of sleeping with it, you can add it to the Museum of Broken Relationships. The museum was founded by 2 artists named Olenka and Drazen in Zagreb, Croatia. After their 4-year relationship came to an end in 2003, the 2 joked about setting up a museum to house their leftover personal items, and 3 years later actually did it. They offer the opportunity for scorned lovers to overcome the emotional burden of a breakup by sending whatever personal belonging they want to the collection. They have been constantly adding new pieces from the public ever since it was founded. Now, some of the artifacts are obvious additions, such as rings, clothing, and holiday gifts, but some are much stranger and offer a window into the minds of more adventurous couples, such as fuzzy pink handcuffs or even a wooden watermelon. Yeah, that's a real thing. While this museum is cool, most people already have their own Museum of Broken Relationships. It's called a Facebook timeline. Number 4 is the Venthaven Ventriloquist Museum. Aside from fueling the nightmares of many, ventriloquist dummies are the dolls that are used in comedy shows and horror movies, so they naturally need a museum. Found in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, is the only museum of its kind in the world with a collection of more than 700 ventriloquist dummies. They all just sit there with their glassy eyes ready to pierce your very soul with their lifeless stare. Sounds like fun. The Venthaven Ventriloquist Museum was founded by William Shakespeare Berger, who collected the figures as a hobby. The collection began in his home, where he allowed visitors and other ventriloquists to stop by and take a look. Berger amassed a huge collection from the 1930s until his death in 1973, when the museum was opened. Included here are figures that look like Presidents Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan, and displays dedicated to specific famous ventriloquists like Jeff Dunham. Okay, well, I joke, but there's nothing weird or wrong about owning a ventriloquist dummy, especially one made in your own image. This is Matt Jr. Say hello. Number 5 is the Muto Museum. Located in Philadelphia, the Muto Museum is a medical museum that was opened in 1963 by Thomas Dent Muto, MD, who donated his collection of medical specimens and equipment with the original intention of facilitating research and education. Today, the collection has continued to grow into a diverse collection of medical abnormalities displayed in marble and oak halls. The items here include the tallest skeleton currently on display in North America at 2.25 meters, a display of 2,000 objects removed from people's throats, and a 9-foot-long human colon that contained over 40 pounds of fecal matter. Oh. That last one. However, the most famous inhabitant of the museum is the Soap Woman, which are the remains of a 19th century woman believed to have died from yellow fever. Her burial was in soil that contained a specific mix of chemicals that turned into literally soap. Unfortunately, as cool as this place is, their gift shop does not include a jar with a sheep fetus inside, just a goat fetus. Yeah, there's a letdown. Number 6 is the Gelato Museum. If you've ever wanted to know just how historically important gelato is, because hey, who hasn't, then this museum is for you. The Gelato Museum in Bologna, Italy offers an exploration of the history of gelato from the earliest recipes in the 16th century to modern gelato artists. The museum is set up inside the headquarters of Carpigiani, a company that manufactures ice cream machines and equipment. On display is a collection of gelato machines, including an interactive tour of the history of gelato and plenty of samples. Yummy. Adjacent to the museum is the Gelato University that offers hands-on lessons in gelato creation, allowing you to create the next flavor sensation outside of Nutella in Rocky Road, which are hard to beat. Alright, well this one isn't as weird as it is delicious, but I thought I'd switch it up a bit, you know, give you some hope between the talk of penises and fecal-filled colons. And hope is over. On to the next. Number 7 is the International Cryptozoology Museum. Not long ago, I made an entire video on the existence of cryptids, those creatures whose existence have been suggested but never proven by the scientific community. Well, in 2003, Lauren Coleman launched an entire museum dedicated to them in Portland, Maine. Housing information from everything from the Loch Ness Monster to Sasquatch, the collection exceeds 10,000 items focusing on the study of these legendary creatures. Notable items include a baby Bigfoot, a fur-covered doll, and dozens of casts made from Bigfoot's famous foot. Beyond Bigfoot, there are samples of Yeti hair, alleged pieces of a Fiji mermaid, and a plaster cast of the Louisiana Honey Island swamp monster. Don't worry, the museum doesn't take itself too seriously, so I doubt that you'll run into an employee that will talk about the prevalence of Bigfoot. As for patrons, however, there's bound to be a few nutjob Bigfoot bounty hunters. They'll talk your ear off. Number 8 is the Lunchbox Museum. If you want a museum to remind you of your childhood years in the lunchroom, eagerly anticipating the lunch that your parents packed for you, then you might enjoy the Lunchbox Museum. Weirdo? The museum is located in Columbus, Georgia, and admission will only cost you the price of a lunchbox, or $5. The owner of the museum, Alan Woodall Jr., has gathered the world's largest collection of metal lunchboxes, totaling 3,500. The exhibit includes lunchboxes and their matching thermoses from the early to mid-1900s. In fact, some of the boxes are so rare that they fetch anywhere from $2,500 to $10,000 a piece. With distinctive character designs like Woody Woodpecker and Dr. Spock, it's probably one of the few museums where you can possibly find an example of something that you owned as a child. If you're not into lunchboxes, thankfully they also have on display a decent collection of flasks. You know, for the harder edge kids in the classroom. Number 9 is the Barbed Wire Museum. Unless you're a rancher or someone who's recently escaped prison, I doubt you've taken a fair look at barbed wire. So some brilliant fellow from Kansas decided to construct a barbed wire museum, you know, for all the folks that were missing out. Inside, you'll find over 2,000 varieties of barbed wire, including a diorama on display showing early use. To tour the museum is free, but like other museums, this one is particularly important to only look and never touch. Unless of course you got a tetanus shot, but even then it's still not recommended. The folks that run the museum have been known to say, some say it was the 6-gun that settled the West, others know better. Yeah, no, let's stick with the 6 guns. There's something much cooler about a showdown rather than 2 guys throwing barbed wire at each other. Just That doesn't sound right. And number 10, the Museum of Medieval Torture Instruments. Back in the good old medieval times, when bathing was strange and teeth were uncommon, people during that time got quite creative when it came to torturing. The amount of instruments that have survived through the years is enough to fill a museum, and if you drive down to Brugge in Belgium, you'll find just that. The museum houses a collection of more than 100 torture devices. Some of them obvious in their use, but others can be more bizarre in their design. The museum is also one of the oldest buildings in Brugge and is thought to have once been a prison in the 12th century. You know, as if it wasn't creepy enough already. They're open 7 days a week, and they urge you to follow them on Twitter and like their Facebook page. You know, cause that's the type of stuff you want to see in your timeline on a Monday morning. Great way to start the week. And that's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I just wanted to remind you that your boy is on the Instagrams. I don't know what that was. If you haven't added me yet, you should definitely do that. My username is Matthew Santoro, and that's the place where I post all kinds of stuff, like exclusive selfies, exclusive behind the scenes stuff, and stuff that you don't get to see in my main channel videos, so be sure to do that. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click that like button, and also be sure to click that red subscribe button because I upload every Tuesday and Saturday. Have a great day, and I will see you guys later on both my second channel and my social media, specifically Instagram. Be sure to add your boy. Peace.